Tensions between the United States and Iran have surged into one of the most serious foreign policy crises in recent years, with world powers scrambling to prevent a broader conflict. As diplomatic channels between Washington and Tehran remain largely dormant, Turkey has stepped in with an unprecedented offer to mediate between the two rivals. Turkish officials say they are seeking to avert a military confrontation that could have devastating regional consequences. Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, traveled to Istanbul this week for high-level talks with Turkish officials, including Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan, aimed at cooling tensions and exploring avenues for dialogue. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has publicly offered to act as a facilitator in negotiations between the United States and Iran, though no formal talks have yet been scheduled. The backdrop to these diplomatic efforts is a significant escalation in military posturing. The United States has recently deployed an aircraft carrier strike group to the Middle East, signaling readiness to act if ordered. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has underscored that U.S. forces are prepared to carry out any directive from President Donald Trump, including military options, should Iran remain uncooperative. President Trump has publicly stated a desire to avoid direct conflict, emphasizing that he hopes military action can be averted through negotiations. But Tehran has offered a complex and sometimes contradictory message. Iranian officials have reiterated their willingness to engage in diplomacy if conditions are fair and mutual respect is maintained, yet they have also made clear that Iran's defensive and missile capabilities will not be subject to negotiation. On the Turkish side, diplomats have articulated deep concern about any U.S. military intervention. Ankara's position is that military action would destabilize the region further and that all parties should pursue dialogue rather than escalation. Turkish officials have even warned against external pressures, including alleged Israeli efforts to push Washington toward a military strike, arguing that such a course would inflict severe harm on an already fragile Middle East. Iran's presidency has echoed this sentiment, stating that successful negotiations depend on the United States dropping threats and abandoning war-provoking actions. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian emphasized that diplomacy requires goodwill and mutual trust, not ultimatums, if a path to de-escalation is to be found. Amid these diplomatic back-and-forths, global leaders are warning of the broader risks. United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres urged renewed diplomacy between the United States and Iran, stressing that avoiding conflict is essential for regional and global stability. Guterres noted that unresolved tensions could have devastating consequences and that effective dialogue guided by international cooperation is critical to diffusing current hostilities. For now, the situation remains highly volatile. While Turkey's mediation efforts offer a potential diplomatic lifeline, no direct U.S.-Iran negotiations have yet been set in motion. Both sides maintain a blend of public pressure and strategic readiness that leaves the prospect of peace uncertain and the possibility of confrontation closer than at any time in recent years.